So that means that someone is objectively up and the other person is objectively down. I believe the Earth is a globe because for the past millennials we have made a lot of physics theory, and every scientific experiment has pointed toward the Earth being a globe. And with the knowledge that we acquire by explaining how the Earth is a globe, we can actually create a simulation and prediction on how we should see the environment, like the stars. We can predict where the stars will be at any date, any hours. Um, we can predict, we can see the planets from the Earth by looking through a telescope, and we can see that some planets have the moons that orbits around the planet. So I think this is something. So this is something possible. So there is a high probability that the Earth is like this too. I think time zones and seasons actually point toward globe Earth. The fact that the Earth has an electromagnetic field also proves that it's spherical because it has a north pole and a south pole. Um,
Okay, that's 3 minutes.
okay, perfect.
All right. Well, that's okay. So that was 3 minutes of his explanation of why he believes in the globe, which is an explanation. And so my contention is that even though it is an explanation, a valid one, I don't think that it answers all the questions that we ask, but it answers the questions that it asks because it references its own conclusions. To accept the globe is an act of belief. Like, it's not something you know directly. You've never seen it. Any image that you've ever seen of the globe has been a composite image, not a picture, not a photograph. They've been misrepresented. You believe it's a globe because you were told, and then you've been told it's an oblate spheroid. So one thing I want to ask, and when we turn it over, I'd like you to answer, is Earth oblate when the pictures are spherical? And then the secondary one will be, are other planets oblate? Just saying is that you believe it because you've been told by all the right experts, but I don't think there's any evidence for it. Actual statements you make, like you say that ships go over the curve, they don't. Curve is a myth. So right there, you'll have to answer to that rather. Is like, can you defend your statement that ships go over the curve? And then we show you contrary evidence. You'll have to refine that or admit that you can't be intellectually honest. So, because that's one of the simplest ones, and I'm surprised that you would use it. It doesn't sound like it would make sense on a flat Earth model, but that's because you're assuming the moon to be 250,000 miles away. A localized moon doesn't have that same problem. Talk about every scientific experiment validates a globe. Every scientific experiment. You are specifically ignoring all the scientific experiments that suggest the contrary. Again, use the word believe a lot, and I think we need to be very cognizant of the words that we use because, a lot of people, a lot of things, Scientologists believe that we were brought here by an alien called Xenu and that we were hatched in giant volcanoes. You don't know that. You don't know the sun is 93 million miles away, and nor do I. You believe it to be. I don't. Finally, I guess what I would say is, do I believe the Earth is flat? I experience it as such. It appears to be stationary. In fact, it reacts as a flat stationary plane. I have no reason to believe it's a ball. Of the scientists who have a vested interest in convincing me that's what it is. But would I say I'm a flat earther? No, I don't have enough information to come to a definitive conclusion, much less a model. I don't have a model because the model that you do have, your globe, isn't really a model. Well, it's a theoretical model. It hasn't been scientifically validated.
Okay, you have 3 minutes to rebut. Vision.
Okay. So you said the believing is in the globe Earth is a belief. Well, that's something you can think if you want. I don't agree to that because, well, you said multiple times that the globe is a belief because we have no evidence, where it's completely false. We have a lot of evidence, and saying that we don't does not make the evidence false or inexistent. The second thing you say about the composite images of the Earth, that's actually false too. We have, I agree, we have a composite image of the Earth, of course. That's like NASA said, it's photoshopped. It has to be because there is a technical difficulty to capture the whole Earth because it's so big. So yes, there are some composite images, but there are also non-composite images. You told me that the Earth, you think that I think the Earth is oblate. That's actually true. I think that is true. I believe the scientists when they say that. The thing is that when they say the Earth is oblate, it's not like you expect, like, I don't know how to say that, but the Earth is basically 99% spherical, perfect spherical. The distance between the highest point and the lowest point is nothing compared to the side of the Earth. And basically, that's why the Neil deGrasse Tyson said it's pear-shaped or something like that. Every flat earther has taken this to the literally, and they didn't research the proportion that the Earth is a pear or a oblate spheroid. Do I think that other planets are oblates? I agree to say that I didn't search on that subject, but I think it's entirely possible. You said that we have experts but no evidences, and I think, again, that's what I said earlier. You said that ships can't go over the curve, that's the myth. Well, you can, if you want, I can provide you a video, well, tons of video, images, and anything you want that show a ship, or even the sun, for that matter, going over the curve. What else?
Go ahead. That's time.
Okay, sorry.
Start the timer at 3 minutes. IPS has the floor.
Okay, so Vision Elf, let's go over the horizon. He has been investigating flat Earth, but the majority of the videos that you see that get people to take a pause explain how the very first proof that we're given about, rather, ball Earth is the boats going over the horizon. That's like the very first thing we told as kids. And so when you research the topic, YouTube is flooded with videos of boats appearing to go over the horizon quite readily. It's simple. That is literally a myth. And moreover, not only is it a myth, it's a bad argument. All the ancient Greeks knew, because the Chinese had a flat stationary map until the 17th century. So you can't make these statements about we all knew it for thousands of years. That's just not true. When you use the word we, as though scientific consensus means anything, and as though there has ever been a scientific consensus. The model that you have is anything but settled. Appropriate, science shouldn't be settled, but in other ways they treat it as such, as though new information isn't admitted into the discussion about flat Earth. So about the oblate spheroid, you believe it's oblate because you've been told, but you admit that oblate is 99% sphere. That by definition is not oblate. So you accepted Neil deGrasse Tyson's line to see a sphere as oblate. You accepted the 2 + 2 = 5 1984 brainwashing. Let's do. They get you to accept that oblate equals. I asked if you've seen oblate spheroids out there, and you couldn't readily name any planets that are oblate. definition of oblate differs from mine. So I would still say that there is no evidence for the globe beyond heavily doctored photos, composite images, faith in the experts that have told you what they saw it to be. So I would like to ask, do you believe that Starman is on its way to Jupiter? Starman, and I'll let you go with the boat thing. You believe boats go over the horizon. Believe Starman's floating to Jupiter.
Want to answer that, Vision?
Yeah, can I go back on the thing I missed, or?
Oh, he asked you if you believe that Starman is going to Mars.
No. My question is, can I finish what I didn't finish earlier? Like speaking about his previous arguments, or should I reply to what he said right now?
Just note them down and we'll go back to it. But, you know, mainly I wanted to know, do you believe Starman's going to Jupiter?
Well, I have no reason to believe otherwise. If they're saying it does, then I don't care if it does or if it doesn't. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and the reason I was asking about Starman going to Jupiter is that Starman is going to Mars. You don't even think about it very clearly.
I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know where it's supposed to go because I didn't really like study the subject, this one. So
Fair
I
enough.
don't really care if it's going to Mars, Jupiter, or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay, then this is the point I wanted to make really quick, was that if your standard of evidence is I believe what I'm told even without investigating it, exceeded a major point that I wanted to make, that belief in the globe is just the default belief from trusting the authority figures, and that it's not something that you've actually come to know and knowledge. Only point we really can make, in my view.
Yeah, I agree that the if we trust the scientists, it is based on trust. I think it's more trust than belief. If there are scientists, they can create, I don't know, nuclear plants, airplanes, satellites, anything you want, and they say that there is a man in a car in space, I'm going to trust them because basically all they did was actually trustworthy in certain conditions. Like, I'm not saying that nuclear plants is a very good thing or anything like that, but I mean that it's working. So I don't have any reasons to believe that they're lying. That's what. Yeah, I think it's more based on trust than belief in this sense.
Okay. That first subject. Earlier, Vision, Elf, you said that you claim that sunsets are proof of the ball Earth. So in this round, I'd like each of you to explain sunset in your model, and we are going to begin with IPS. Please explain how a sunset works on a flat Earth. 3 minutes.
Sure. You know, very briefly, what we're explanations that do explain. They're just not the correct explanations, nor are they the only ones. So, in my view, I don't know how big the sun is, how far it is. I know it's not a gas giant. I know we do not orbit the thing. Willing to admit that I don't know a whole lot about it because what I've been told I don't trust anymore, and I have reason to believe. Well, I have reason to know distorted and falsified. So what I will say is that the sun arriving into your field of view and leaving your field of view doesn't mean over a hump, coming over a hump. It just means that we have a limited range of vision given our, relative to the size of the Earth, we're very small. Passing over is going to appear to, quote, rise and appear to, quote, set. It's your field of view. And this is not a difficult thing to understand. You could lay in the grass and you could see a soccer ball fly over your head. Well, it's going to enter your field of vision coming up and down. Or when you're driving, the traffic lights ahead of you, below your field, below your vision, and then they'll rise up, it'll go above your head, and then it goes back behind you. It's the same altitude above the street the whole time. Spinning ball thing. Although that explanation does satisfy that model, because the model is set there first, and then they give you reasons to believe it. House of Cards. And so the accepted explanation for the rising, the setting, the sun, I totally get it. Was as you explained to us your view of what causes the sun to rise and fall. Where's the terminator line? See sunlight receding into a point. The only time I see a terminator line footage, and it looks fake AF. That'd be it.
We have 1 minute left. Do you want to relinquish the rest of your time or keep going?
Push it. I'd just like to know, where is the terminator line?
Okay. When you're speaking about the terminator line, you speak about the light on the Earth. So the terminator line on the Earth that is caused by the sun, right? Just to be clear on that.
Yeah, the line bisecting the sphere.
Okay, yeah.
Sphere.
So basically on the globe model, the terminator line is basically half the sphere. So you are always half the sphere lit and half the sphere in darkness, basically. That would be my answer to that. I'll just reply on the other thing you said. So you said that you don't know for a fact that the sun is a gas ball, or if it is far away, or if we orbit around it. That's fair. I'm not going to go around that. Then you talk about the range of vision, and that one is kind of an issue. I'm claiming that we have unlimited range of vision because light travels indefinitely unless obstructed or refracted or anything you want. The other thing about the range of vision is that if an object is too small on your, like if the angular size of an object is too small for your eyes to see, then you will not see it. But it's not because we have a limited field, we have a limited range of vision. It's because the object is too small and too far. So yeah, I'm claiming we have unlimited range of vision. That's why we can see the stars that are millions and millions of light year away. And if we can see these stars, and even on the flat Earth, if there are 3,000 miles, or I won't say anything. I won't assume that you say the stars are 3,000 miles away. So talking about the sun and the moons specifically. If we can see them at 3,000 miles, we should be able to see everything 3,000 miles away. Of course, the condition will be that there are no obstruction. You said that the sun is at the same altitude. Well, yeah, it works on a globe model because we are so tiny compared to the sun and compared to the distance to the Earth. The sun is basically always at the same altitude, and I agree with that. That's fine on the globe model. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm just going to the last thing. You you didn't talk about the sunset, I believe. So because on the globe model, the sunset, so the sun is cut in half by the sea. When you look at the sunset in the sea, you see the sun is cut in half. The only thing that can cause that is just finishing one word, is something is hiding the sun. Sorry.
Okay. On that last point first, if you were to lie down in a football field and you had a friend standing next to you walking to the opposite goalpost, about 50 yards down the line, you're going to lose sight of his ankles. The goalpost, you're not going to see him from the knee down. Did he go over the curve? No, he didn't. same way the sun isn't going over a curve. It has to do, and then also the second thing here, years. I certainly don't believe the stars are trillions and trillions and trillions of light years away. They're local objects. I don't know how far they are. The 3,000 mile mark on it, I wouldn't say. I haven't determined that, but I don't believe in light years. I don't think light goes an indefinite distance. I don't think we can see an indefinite distance. So I would dispute that. I don't think that you can prove light years exist. I don't believe in stellar parallax. It hasn't been observed. And you do not need a curve to explain. And then in terms of your pictures that you go by, I can look at the moon. I can see features that are 50 miles across. And yet the pictures of Earth from the moon that are purported to be from the moon, you cannot see any features on Earth that small. Glaring inconsistencies with the pictures that we have been shown of the 99% sphere, oblate spheroid Earth. So my next question would be, because you said you have no reason to disbelieve in Starman, videos that show Starman to be a hoax. Would you be willing to look into those objectively? With regards to the International Space Station, there are hundreds of videos showing glaring green screen, glitches, harnesses, anomalies that would suggest it's a movie studio. Have you looked at any of these? Time so we can answer these two questions. Look into the fakery of the ISS, and are you not aware that Starman has been widely debunked?
So about Starman, I think, yeah, when I talk to flat earther, they never talk about this, so I believe I never encounter a video like this. I have saw like some images, some montage that were showing like the Starman in a studio or something, but they were just fake images. So this is the only thing I saw about the Starman debunk, I guess. And yeah. I will just go over the replies you said. So the first thing that blew my mind is that you say I can't prove that light year exists, but light year is
Also the ISS, because he did defer his time.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking, thanks. So you say we can't prove light year exists, but light year is a distance, it's a measurement. It's, I don't know what is the correct value in kilometers.
Yeah,
but saying
186,000 miles per second. So it predicates the belief in the speed of light. So
no,
I'm just saying I don't buy into any of that.
Light year is a distance, it's not a speed.
Yeah, exactly. But it's predicated on that. It's the number of distance that light will travel in a year, light traveling at 186,000 miles per second. And I'm saying that I don't have any basis to believe that exists. It's a leap of faith you've taken. And so I don't believe in light years. I don't believe light travels an infinite distance. I think that's all a hoax.
Okay, but my point was that light year is not supposed to exist or don't exist. It's a measurement. So we define a light year according to the speed of light, but even if the speed of light is not what we are told, light year can still exist because the speed of light is 3,000, etc. And yeah, I don't see your point there, but I'm just going to reply very quickly to this about the speed of light. Did you already saw some videos that show the speed of light? So basically, this is a camera that is recording at such speed that it can record the speed of light. This is very interesting, and I think you should definitely look at this this video. I might link it to you after that.
Okay, I'll watch that, and then you watch videos of boats not going over the horizon. But really, what I was trying to get at with that is that stars are a distance of trillions of light years away, however you frame that. I don't believe that such distances have been measured or have been observed. I don't believe in any of the images I've been shown from Hubble about deep space, about galactic cannibalism and exoplanets. I think it's all a big, heaping, steaming pile of camel shit.
Okay, so yeah. Well, you can choose to not believe it. I won't convince you because I have not the technology required to measure distances. So this is like I said earlier, it's more about trust than belief. You can choose to trust what scientists say. It's not really being gullible or anything like that. It's just like, I want to say common sense, but not really. I think I don't have the word. But basically, there is nothing wrong in trusting scientists. If you want, if the scientists are explaining something and it's not like if scientists are saying a dragon exists, a unicorn exists, and stuff like that, that would be very extraordinary. So you would have to have some extraordinary proof. But if the scientists say the Earth is round, I mean, it's not that extraordinary. I think I'm getting yeah. I think I'm just I messed up, but I think you understand what I mean.
Okay. For this next section, I'd like you, Vision Elf, to explain how seasons work on a ball Earth. You have 3 minutes starting now.
Okay, so seasons on the Earth are due to, on the globe Earth, are due to 3 parameters. So the first one is the orbit of the Earth around the Sun. The fact that the orbit is not a circle, it's actually an elliptical. So that means that you have one point where the Earth will be far from the Sun, and one point where the Sun will be closer to the Sun. So this explains why we have winter and summer, for example. The other parameter is the tilt angle of the Earth. So I believe it's something like 24 degrees, something like that. So the Earth is spinning around its axis, and the axis is tilt 24 degrees. So when the Earth is rotating around the Sun, so obviously the Earth is rotating, so that makes the day-night cycle, and the Earth is rotating, is orbiting around the Sun in 1 year, and that makes the 4 seasons. So when the Earth is closer to the Sun, it's summer. When the Earth is traveling from that close point to like a quarter of the distance, it will be fall. Sorry. And when the Earth is doing the rest, when the Earth, will go to the further distance, it will be winter, and when the Earth is coming back from its original spot, it will be spring and then summer again. Yeah, I think I explained it very simply there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's what I was taught for the most part. And there is no flat Earth model that's been definitive, but based on what we observe, to me, making a circle, could be elliptical, around the North Pole, its widest circle around our winter when it's in the further south, and that it'd be making a slower as we approach the summer. So it'd be a variable speed. And so what we're told is the tilt of the Earth is actually the size of the circle that the sun is making, or rather a spiral. So it's 6 months spiraling out, 6 months spiraling in. And so this would be traveling from 23 degrees south to 23 degrees north, with the north and the south representing the solstices, and then when it crosses the equator, equinoxes. So you could explain it, you know, in this way. That's what it looks like. It appears to be moving further south and then gradually moving back north and then repeating the cycle. What we're giving is also a satisfactory explanation. If you're on a ball, if you're spinning, this is what you would need. You would need the elliptical orbit. But the people who gave us that model didn't have it settled right away. The distances to the sun set in stone. And again, it's just a theoretical model. I think it's interesting. I think it's unlikely. I think it's extraordinary. I'd like to see a picture of it, of the solar system as they say it is. But to me, I see flat, stationary. I see the sun moving above, and I can see the it makes. They'll say, "Oh, flat earthers don't have a predictable model." Yeah, I can predict. It has been predicted. In fact, the very first solar eclipse by Thales, you know, it was predicted by Thales. This guy was like looking at the going to be an eclipse on May 28th, 585 BC, and he was right. Earth was a disk of us. He didn't have a spinning ball heliocentric model to conclude that this would mean that there would be an eclipse. So is that we're talking about explanations, and you've admitted that yours requires trust in scientists. And trust is faith. And if it requires a leap of faith, it's not science, it's religion. Is what it is. And I don't believe the official explanations. I know what I can observe, but I can't say with 100% certainty that. And I think trying to put a model first leads you to reason deductively rather than inductively. And so that's putting the cart before the horse. So I have no use for any models that, like the globe, for example. Arguing from the globe is like arguing from a Bible. It's like Bible thumping. And I don't have a model to argue from. Ground zero, admitting that I don't know certain things. I'm admitting to my own ignorance, you know, to proceed, whereas you are claiming to have answers because you've trusted the right people. Place your trust. Scientists is like trusting journalists and priests.
Vision Elf, do you have anything further to say on that subject, or do you want to move on to the next?
I want to make some reply, if that's okay.
Minutes.
So I want to reply to one subject in specifically. So you're talking a lot about this, and I understand why you do that, because this is the most, I believe, the most one of the best arguments against the globers is that we, as globers, we believe scientists. So that's why we think the Earth is a globe. And you said that we believe scientists, so it's not science, it's faith. So in a sense, I can agree with you that believing in someone is more than faith, over science. The thing is that basically you have to understand this on the scientist point of view. Like 3,000 years ago, scientists were just like you. They were just like looking outside and saying stuff. They said, whatever, the Earth is flat. But then there are technology that has come and allowed us to explore our world. So basically, the scientists were trying to understand how the Earth works and the universe and everything, and they build tools to help them understand how to do that. And what you're saying is that we should deny everything because we don't have the same technology as the scientist has. And basically, the thing that flat earthers are doing is it's like reinventing the wheel, like starting from a fresh start. So like saying you have no knowledge before today and you have to recreate a model based on your observation that you have right now without believing anything that other people have said. The thing is that this protocol, this scientific stuff has already been done in the past millennials. And the fact that you are convinced, I believe, that you want to do is the exact same thing in order to see that the Earth is not a globe, I think it's very time consuming, and it's just wrong. Everything was already done, and that's my thinking right there. That's my thoughts. I think that we don't have to recreate everything every time because we don't have the correct technology to see what the scientists are saying. So yeah, I'm not sure if I was clear.
That's Tom.
So yeah.
I gotcha. I know what you're saying. Like, obviously, we have to defer to experts for some things, or so we're told. And I'm saying that no. I think that we been relying on priesthoods to mediate reality for us for so long that it's left us in a state of ignorance. I think we're in a dark age. And the idea that science has already been settled, like you said, the science has been settled for millions of years or thousands of years. Science is never settled. You write a Bible, you make the official version of it, and then you reproduce it, and you can't change a letter. That's religion. Science is supposed to be changed. It's supposed to change when you have new information. It has to be open to change, or it's not science. And so what I'm saying is that you have placed your trust, have been presented to you as nice and friendly, Bill Nye, a bunch of smiley faces, but I don't think you're aware that they do have advantages. They take advantage of your trust. I'm willing to bet right now that you believe in global warming. Think of any reason why scientists would lie. And what I would say is that the scientists today are masquerading as scientists, that they have perverted the scientific method and replaced it with science by consensus. And I think that you're a believer in a fundamentalist religion. And I think ultimately we're debating your belief system, and your system of the world, like, is no more defensible than Scientology. And I'm not positing anything. I'm not telling anybody what to think or believe, but I'm just saying, hey, look, what we've been told by the state is a bunch of lies. And I would even say that what we've been presented with, the worldview, constitutes a religious worldview. Is just how they've resold us, repackaged heaven. And you talk about needing extraordinary proof. Well, your priesthood is telling you that they're going to terraform Mars by melting the ice caps. They're going to colonize Mars with 5 million people so they can farm potatoes under glass domes in 5 years. To me, that's extraordinary evidence of it. So I have one question for you, and this is just to show you how much. If you went out to outer space, would you see any stars, or would it be nothing but black?
So my guess on that question is yes, but I never went to space, so I'm not sure. So yeah, my final answer is I don't know.
Okay, well, let's do this. Neil Armstrong says black, like velvet, a void, nothing. You can't see anything. Okay. Now,
Okay.
Tom Teat, is that his name? Guy says if it springs a leak, it springs a leak. Don Petit says that from the space station, like fireworks, non-stop comets and stars that are blinking in colors that we've never seen down here on Earth. Do you trust the space station astronauts who said that the night sky is full of twinkling stars, or do you believe Neil Armstrong, who said it was nothing but black? Because both of them are your trusted experts.
Well, I believe in both of them actually. So one was outside the ISS, so one was on the moon, and yeah, he saw no stars. Okay, so I don't know the answer for that, so I will just bear with me with that. I will just tell you what I think happened. So basically, the one who was on the moon has a lot of light coming into his eyes, so it's basically acting like camera. Shit. I don't know the word, but it's like a camera. Basically, when there's too much light, the camera dim the light, so you can't see the stars. So that's basically why we don't have stars in a space photo. And I think what happened, I'm not sure about that, is that on the ISS, there's probably some tinted windows. I don't know. Like that can be an explanation. And yeah, because I never went to the moon and I never went to the ISS, I won't say I'm certain of what I'm saying. But to me, it's believable that one has the moonlight in his eyes and the other has a tinted window. But that's something that is completely possible. So yeah, why not?
Okay, well, how about this? Okay, so the ISS is 250 some miles above the surface of the Earth, supposedly. And when we saw the footage of Starman, the globe, 30,000 miles away, shouldn't we have seen some stars on Starman when it rotated away from the Earth?
Well, if the camera is not in automatic settings, then no, you should not see changes in how the light will affect the camera. That's what I think.
The reason I ask these questions is that I don't believe that they have provided a burden of proof for me to believe in any of their claims about outer space. And so when I'm asking questions, we get these, I don't know. I don't know. And at some point, we have to say, how much trust should we have in government employees, in astronauts? And then, again, I was going to mention this earlier. Do you believe in global warming? Like, I'm sure the answer is yes, but do you believe in it and why?
Yes, I think there is a global warming. So I won't say if it's as dangerous as the government says. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more. I don't know, but I definitely think there is global warming. Well, in the same way, it's exactly sorry what I told earlier. In the same way, I trust the weatherman in the television that says that tomorrow will be sunny. I trust the weather people that says global warming is a thing. That's as simple as that.
Trust. And if you didn't notice, one of the most contentious political issues of the last 50 years has been the climate. Belief in global warming is used as a predicate, pay more taxes to the government and allow the government to seize more control over the private sector. People call it eco-fascism or envirostatism or watermelon Marxism. Are you familiar with any of the opposition to the global warming debate? The people who don't believe it's a real thing?
No, sorry. I don't know any.
Same people who are selling us global warming are the same people selling us the space program, and it's many of the same so-called satellites. And I dispute all of the information provided to us by the space agency, which informs the entire global warming, quote, science, the scientists, the scientific consensus that they've established. Talk about scientific consensus. On scientific consensus. Do you have any problem with that concept?
Not really. If you take all the experts on the world about one subject, and they talk about one theory or subject in particular, I don't know what can go wrong. Well, of course they can lie to everyone, but I think that would be assuming a lot of stuff right there. So, yeah, I'm not sure what.
Well, there is a long history of the sciences, or politicized science, being used to advance the growth of state power at the expense of individual liberty and freedom. And so to me, flat Earth isn't really about curve or not curve. To me, it's really about why are they lying? What would be the purpose? And so the more I look into it, the more I realize it's all connected to the perversion of science, and it's all being used to give us a total worldview that they can convincing us to embrace what I consider to be neo-serfdom. So I just look at it as all a ploy. a big scam. I don't believe in carbon footprints. I don't believe in global warming, and I don't trust the agencies that tell us about it because they do have an incentive to lie. Trust scientists, then of course you're going to believe what they tell you. Just suggesting here is that you don't know the globe exists. You don't know Starman is in space. You don't know what Earth looks like from the moon, but you trust the people who tell you that they've done these things. And to me, that makes you a believer. And I'm the one here with the scientific mindset who says that we ought to be introducing facts that falsify what we've been told. The consensus, I think the scientific consensus is an oxymoron. They're teaching us about a scientific consensus is because they want us to trust their experts like you. A very obedient and compliant conformist, and that this makes you a danger to yourself, because what you are essentially standing for and by is statism, totalitarianism. And that's really my final point. So, like, I'm not trying to change your mind about the shape of the Earth, because I think that this discussion has more to do with the role of media, government, the role of religion. I think it has to do with, and I think that people have given too much power by trusting too many different experts. So I don't trust Bill Nye, I don't trust CNN, and so your worldview is informed by that. And so we live in kind of a parallel universe, I would say. You know, I don't think this debate's going to end anytime soon. I think it's an interesting conversation, but whenever I get into these discussions, I just want people like you to admit that you believe there's a car flying to Jupiter because you've been told so. And then I wanted people to also see that you believe that oblate is a 99% sphere. There's nothing wrong with one guy saying that space is black and the other guy saying space is full of stars, that you're willing to tolerate a lot of ambiguity rather than face any real doubt or skepticism that might arise from my questions about the people that you trust, which is cool. Like, I understand.
Okay, I have some questions for the debaters. First question is to Vision Elf. Do you believe pictures are true and taken from space? And if not, then how could you trust that their pictures are real, that their other pictures are real as well?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, the beginning? I miss.
All NASA's pictures are true and taken from space? And if not, then how could you trust that their other pictures are real as well?
Yes, all the NASA pictures, well, maybe not all, like, I can't say that every single picture is real because I never saw every single picture. But yes, most NASA pictures are real and they are all, yeah, they are all real, and I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay, most are real or all of them are real? Because you said you don't think that all of them are real. You think most of them are real. So you think that some of them are not real, some of them are fake?
No, I'm saying that all the photo I have seen myself are real, and the one I didn't saw, I am not saying anything about them. That's all.
Question for IPS. What do people earn by lying to us, and why do you think that they do it?
I believe that the globe and the heliocentric system is nothing more than the old Roman polytheistic church, which masqueraded as monotheism with Christianity, but looking at a religion that it's an ancient religion. I believe that the space program is Mystery Babylon. Dressed it up like science fiction. It's because what they've done is they have to participate in their one world universal religion without even knowing it. And we've been a part of it our entire lives. The New World Order, these conspiracy theories about what's to come, I don't really think that's true. I think that we're already in it and we're just figuring it out. So you think these rockets are going to space. I would contend that that rocket is an obelisk and as a ritualized expression of the vegetation deities' death and rebirth cycles. It's totally occult. front that the space program is the heaven program. We have a priesthood selling access to some pie in the sky. There's nothing scientific about it. It's no less, no more kooky than Scientology or the Mormons and their celestial kingdoms. The space program is a religion. If you believe in outer space, you bought into a religion. And I would say that Flat Earth is an anti-religion movement. Into this thing. We don't have a separation of church and state. We don't have a free press. And the priests that you trust, the media that you trust, they're all lying to you because the elite to get you, the masses, to worship them as gods. The secret religion of the elite isn't that they worship the devil or Lucifer. Their secret religion is that they get us to worship them through proxies by trusting in their experts with their bow ties and their smocks. A victim of mind control because you were born into the system, fault, but it's your responsibility to pull yourself out of it and to stop drinking their government brainwashing detergent. It is literally a religion on you to prove otherwise because you have not seen anything above low Earth orbit ever. No pictures have ever been taken from the heights that they claim to ascend. It's all lies. One of these statements.
Okay, I have another question that came from chat. I'm sorry, hang on one sec. Question for Vision Elf. Have you ever seen the curvature of the Earth?
Yes. Every time I go to the sea, actually, yeah, I can see the nice curve of the Earth that is masking everything that is beyond the curve. It's beautiful.
Do you think that when you stand at the beach and you look out at the horizon, you're seeing the curvature of the Earth?
That's right.
NASA says you can't see the curvature of the Earth until you're at least 35,000 feet up in the air.
No, you can see the curve from the ground because the argument that things go below the horizon. You don't need to be at high altitude to see stuff going beyond the horizon. So basically, you look at the sea, and what you see is the nice horizon. You see a very sharp line that is dividing the sea and the sky, and this is the curvature. Yeah.
Okay. A question regarding that, because we have evidence that that is not the case. We have laser tests. We have ways of determining that water is in fact flat for the distances that we've managed to ascertain. Curve from the ground, it's not perceptible from your size. I don't know how tall you are. If you're 6 feet tall, your horizon line is only going to go out there 3 miles. I don't need to extend that, but there's a point where, yeah, you should see a drop if there was one, but there hasn't been one observed yet. So you're claiming to have seen the curve, and so is that you're wrong. You haven't seen the curve. You're mistaken. Willing to look at evidence that might contradict your statement?
Sorry?
Willing to look at evidence that might contradict your statement that you can see the curve of the Earth from the ground?
Yeah, sure, go. Share.
I mean, this may not be the point, but let's say hypothetically to do a debate again. Before we did, I would probably want to show you some footage, boats that don't actually go over the horizon, and then see what you think about it. Like if you look on the screen right now, on the left, ship. On the right, you see a horizon. So by your definition on the right, it went over the curve. Somebody turn on their binoculars. They put the binoculars up to the lens, zoomed in, and look. So what's happening here? Is the light from our eyes bending over the curve because of gravity? Or are you mistaken about boats?
I'm sorry, I don't see any. What screen are we talking about? Oh, on this, on the other channel. No, which one? Oh, okay, sorry. So, can you repeat what you say?
This. Okay, so look at the picture on the right. Over the hump, right? The curve that you see. Now look at the picture on the left. A boat.
Yeah.
Because he's looking through binoculars. And so these pictures here is anything other than flat.
Well, no. So first, I want to ask if you have a complete image of the boat, because we can see a mirage right there. I just want to know if what is the shape of the boat when it's mirage or anything, if you have something.
Well, you know, pictures, here's the thing about pictures, you know, they're easy to dispute. So what about this? I had a conversation with a member of the Coast Guard, told me that part of his job as a lookout, making contact, visual contact with vessels, spotting vessels at 60 miles away. Now I asked, how high were you off the surface of the ocean? He said about 40 feet. So at 40 feet, making visual contact, verified by radar, not mirages, by 60 miles plus. See anything strange about making visual contact with a vessel 60 miles away across the ocean?
There can be some atmospheric refraction. That's a thing.
47 verified by radar.
And I don't understand what you're saying.
What's missing? I mean, between the observer and the vessels at 60 miles, there should be 100 feet of curvature according to your curvert formula of 8 inches per mile squared.
And this is not the correct formula. Can you tell me the distances, please?
The observer is 40 feet off the surface of the ocean, and he's making visual contact with vessels at 60 miles. Only 500 feet of curvature. Obviously absent from the scenario, right?
Well, if I understand correctly what you said, I don't know who told you that, but I think the distances were probably wrong. I'm not sure. Just like you're saying this to me like this, and I can't verify anything you're saying. But yeah, I assume that if everything you said is true, and that if I understand everything you said, then yeah, it's probably proving the Earth is flat. Probably, I don't know.
Well, that was what got me. Okay, what got me to look into this carefully was things that, yeah, I wouldn't take anything on faith. This is just anecdotal evidence. I could be making it up. Other similar examples, for example, air defense artillery, things where we're looking at military specifically for their own purposes, targeting things at 60 to 100 miles on a routine basis. Saying here is that if this is a routine thing and there's no perceivable curvature on the Earth, either the Earth is a lot bigger, got the formula wrong, but whatever it is, it's not matching up with what they told you. 25,000 mile circumference. It doesn't match that formula. And so we placed our trust in people who gave us this formula to tell us how much curve there should be. Add up, we're considered to be crazy for asking why. It doesn't add up. You know, it's not me bringing the bad information. It's your stuff we're cross-checking. So can we say we need firsthand evidence? I'm not going to say for certain that I'm convinced of that, but I will say I've spoken to this person and others and similar people in similar fields, and it's like, well, there's obviously something there would contradict the claim that it's a spinning ball. So I'm glad you can at least agree that if you saw that evidence, it would raise some flags for you, right?
Yeah, and only if I understood everything correctly. If there is like a parameter or anything like that that I misunderstood or that you didn't tell me, maybe it's something that I would reconsider. I'm just going to say one thing. You talk about the mile square formula, or I don't know which one is it. This formula is only used to calculate the curvature of the Earth, but it's not used to calculate what you should see below or above the curvature. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you look at the Earth's curvature formula, look it up online, it does account for the height of the observer.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
when I said that there was a missing 1,500 feet of curvature, I was exaggerating the amount. I mean, I was understating it, because when I calculated it, I put the observer up at 100 feet, at more than twice what he told me, because I knew people would say you're not accounting for the height of the observer. So I doubled it, and still 100 feet of hump missing from this picture. And I'm like, okay, well, here.
Okay, if you use that formula, that's fine. I just wanted to make it clear.
Okay, well, I don't really have any further questions. I mean, as far as I'm, concerned, I don't think you can use debates to change people's minds, nor should you expect to. I just wanted to bring some things out into the open, which is my contention that most of the people who believe in the ball Earth are extremely trusting scientists, and I think that's very concerning. I appreciate your time, though. Karen, anything else?
I did have somebody else submit a question if you have time for another question. Do you or no?
Sure, let's do it.
Question for you is gravity real?
As things falling down, what we observe as that's been described as gravity is real, as observed, as experienced, but it isn't for the explanations that they've given us. Ball or mass attracting mass. And I believe that they use, well, I noticed that they use gravity, the Gap's divine fallacy argument. So if they can't figure something out, over it, and it's just the cure-all for any sort of gap in their system. So gravity's the god of the gaps. I think gravity is actually the god in this heliocentric religion, media, and in the culture industry. The god is gravity, and the icon, the cross of this religion is the globe. I think the whole thing is just a total, sorry to say it, but that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, I believe that what we see, I see everything you see. I just disagree on the explanations.
Okay. That wraps up my questions for today. Do you have any closing statements that you wanted to make, or?
Fine. Like I said, I appreciate your time, and I'll be going through this later. I'll post this at flatearthnetwork.com under the debates section, and I'll take notes underneath it. And so any points I feel like weren't answered, you can do the same. Go to the network site and add your own comments. And if you feel like I dodged or avoided, press any of it. And then if I feel like we exposed weak spots in their argument, those need to be honed in on this thing.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I want to say basically the same thing. Thanks for your time. That was very interesting. I'm still a bit confused because we didn't enter the details. But as you said earlier, and you were right, debating the flat Earth or the globe Earth is not about showing evidence to one another. It's more like trusting trust or belief, as you said. So yeah, this was very interesting nonetheless. So thank you again, and I will look at the post you will do. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you for your time. That was a good debate. You guys were very civil. Good discussion.
Okay, thank you for moderating. And like I said, I'll put this at the network site, and in the comments, we'll go through it and described.
Okay.
So anyway, thanks everyone for joining us. Go to the flatearthnetworksite.com and there's a debate section. I'll post this here in about an hour.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was over before it even started.
And I had to keep muting myself. I was laughing.